What's going on?
Welcome to ID Podcast. Thanks so much for joining us on this lovely day.
Yeah, hopefully it's lovely wherever you are. It is, it's like Groundhog Day here in Costa Rica. It's sunny and 80s. So sorry if you are living somewhere cold and you're like, dang it, guys, you're killing me. It's snowing outside. But there can be beauty there. I guess if you're dressed for the occasion, it's all right. But we are enjoying life down here in Costa Rica, running a bunch of interviews. We've had some really great guests on the show, a lot of new stuff that we haven't heard before, and advice that we are going to be putting into our relationship. And today is no different with our interview with Dr. Diana Kirschner. And Dr. Diana was a frequent guest on the Today Show and starred in a PBS TV special on love, and has helped thousands all over the world find passionate, lasting love. And she does that through her dating tips and relationship advice website and newsletter available at loveinninetydays.com. And Dr. Diana had some really unique and interesting tips for us about a wide range of relationship topics. We started with how to empower our partner and got all the way down to communicating our deepest desires and the way to do that. And we'll just tell you a little preview, but on the empowering your partner, I think this is going to be the best and one that we're looking forward to. And that is coming up with a diamond self or a best self name for your partner. So we all know pet names, right? Like we call our partner Cutie or Monkey or whatever it is. And those are good, and they're validating more from a child, appealing to our child self. Whereas the Diamond Self nickname is like this empowering name. So you'll have to listen for a little preview on what I came up for Sarah, just on the go during the interview. But I'll have to work on dialing it in.
I know the pressure's on to come up with your name. I'm not quite sure what it's going to be. But in addition to creating the Diamond Self name, Dr. Diana gave us a bunch of tips and resources to be able to use, and that she's actually used in her 30 plus years of marriage. So she knows a thing or two about creating a successful, lasting marriage.
In relationship. And as always, we really appreciate you guys listening, subscribing on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. And we hope you are staying warm if you're somewhere cold. If not, bundle up or take some clothes off.
Think of the sun and the warm weather.
And we really appreciate it, guys.
Enjoy the show. Hi, Dr. Diana. Thanks so much for joining us on the show today.
I'm so excited to be with you guys.
Dr. Diana, we've given our listeners a little overview of your work, but why don't you take a minute, tell us about yourself and why you enjoy helping people improve their relationships?
Well, I'm not so different from anyone else who is working and helping people this way. I really was born into a situation where I didn't see a lot of amazing love relationships, to put it mildly. And so I really went on a quest, because I had a very difficult childhood, actually, and I went on a quest to find out if love existed for real. And during that time, I got a master's degree and a PhD in psychology, and I studied everything I could get my hands on. And I was really, really graced to find someone that I refer to as a fairy godmother who really helped me personally, and all this knowledge helped me personally to create an amazing marriage with my soulmate that's been getting better for decades, actually. So I'm paying it forward.
That
Awesome.
is a great story, and you are definitely going to be paying it forward today as you give us and our listeners some really great advice about how we can empower our partners through our thoughts and words in a relationship. Because I don't think there's anything more important than always trying to improve ourselves and improve our relationships, because those are the most important things, right? And if we can empower our partner, that's going to be all the better. So why don't we jump in and talk about how we can start this process?
Well, yeah, empowering, that's what goes on in really, really healthy relationships. And there are couples who are madly in love, who have been married for decades, and that's been borne out by research, by fMRI studies. When they're in an fMRI machine, they put in a picture of their spouse, and their brain lights up as if they're newlyweds, yet they've been married for 25 years. So the question is, how do you do that? And certainly by empowering each other, that is creating a lot of novelty, because then each one of you is really, really growing as a person. So it's not boring, it's not on autopilot. And a very simple way to empower your partner is to think of them in what I call their diamond self, their diamond self. And we do a lot of this kind of work in our Love Mentor coaching program, where we help each person kind of get in touch with what we call their diamond self, which is their best self-identity, and even give it a name. For women, that could be, nicknames like Amazing Grace, Beloved Mighty Isis, Saucy Minx, Vivacious Vixen. It's really kind of a fun process. And with your partner, it's imagining them in their diamond self-identity and treating them accordingly. And it could be a matter of giving them a nickname. Let's say that you're a woman and you want to give your husband a nickname, and he's into boating. You call him Captain Jack, quarterback, or he's into football, Mr. Quarterback himself. Talking and giving that kind of nickname and playing with that kind of opening up this empowered identity starts really changing things up, really, really changing things up. When your husband feels like the quarterback, he's going to feel empowered. He's going to feel empowered to take chances with you, empowered to take chances at work, empowered. And it's not a matter of giving him or her a nickname that you want. It's about kind of capturing their essence, about who they could be or would want to be. And that is love. That is a deep manifestation of love.
I am trying to envision, the name I would call Chase, and just thinking about it kind of makes me excited for it, because it kind of reignites all the good things that I think about him. So I imagine that doing that on a daily basis, having that name makes you remember, how things were in the beginning, and helps to reignite the relationship. How great that can be for your relationship.
Oh yeah, and it's super exciting in the bedroom and outside the bedroom.
Yeah.
This is definitely a unique and fun exercise. We haven't had this. We have pet names and everyone hears that, but that's not, as you were saying, so much. That's more endearing rather than empowering. And so those examples of the names you gave were pretty badass. I'm thinking of Xena,
Dr. Cool,
Princess
Dr.
Warrior,
Cool.
or something. I'm gonna have to come up with something good for Sarah. And yeah, like Sarah said, just thinking about it. But then you have these names, and then when you are empowering, so you're looking for the best qualities in your partner, and so that's a positive experience for you. And then when your partner receives that name, it is a name, but it's positive affirmation, and as you say, then that equals empowerment, and then that translates across the board in the relationship and in life.
Absolutely. The little pet names, the endearing names are different. They actually work a little bit in the opposite direction from empowering, because it's kind of meeting the inner child of your partner. Booby mooby, my mumums, my little cutie pie, that's kind of meeting the inner child and validating the inner child of your partner, which is wonderful also, really, really wonderful. But this other way of empowering nicknames, diamond self-names, it's a different direction. It's a really different direction. And that your diamond self-name is right on for your partner if they light up, or they laugh, or they blush.
Yeah, well, I think this is a good piece of homework for Sarah and I, and for you guys out there listening. It's pretty simple. It's fun. I mean, I'm just thinking right now, it's going to be fun for us to do and to come up with this diamond self, this best self name for our partners. I haven't heard this before, and it is such a easy thing that can have a pretty profound impact on the relationship.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
So how does, besides creating this diamond self name and it translating to empowerment, how is this helping the relationship? And then what are some other things that we can do to empower our partner?
Mm-hmm. Well, this is helping the relationship because, in a sense, it's kind of like being a good parent, but in a positive sense, right? Because we all long for validation, and most of us did not get a lot of validation when we were little. So it's kind of a healing that takes place in the relationship at a really, really deep level. Really, really deep level. I have a lot of different techniques that we use in the Love Mentor coaching program, and it's just astonishing how you can turn things around from hopeless to actually being pretty crazy about each other. We had a case, for example, where the couple was married for 30 years and they were about to divorce, and we started in with some of them, helping them with the diamond self-work, and then also imagining or seeing the kind of future they were going to be living through without each other, which is another thing you can do to help with your appreciation of your partner, because it's usually, it's when we lose something that we appreciate it. It's when we lose something that we appreciate it. So in this case, this couple was talking to their Love Mentor coach, and their Love Mentor coach was saying, well, this is what it's going to be like. You're going to be all alone in this apartment, and you're going to be feeling incredibly lonely, and you're going to be feeling incredibly sad, and you're going to feel probably bad about yourself. And actually telling them what it was they were creating by continuing to treat each other with a lot of disrespect and even contempt, and that this is where it would lead them. And so what happened was they were like, oh my God, they just started appreciating each other, and they started, really treating each other with more respect, and they wound up really rekindling their love relationship. They wound up having sex under the dining room table. They were
while others were eating? No, just kidding.
Really turned it around, really were able to build something entirely new, but keep all the older things that they loved about their relationship. All the comfort things, all the safety things that they did love. Anyway, but that is kind of an advanced technique. I talk about it in my book, 30 Days to Love, The Ultimate Relationship Turnaround. And it's, you can actually use it yourself without having a coach involved necessarily, is to fast forward to the kind of relationship or the kind of non-relationship you're going to have if you keep up with this whatever the problem behaviors are in your current relationship.
It is such a valuable exercise, and one that you don't need to do if you're in a bad spot. Like you can do this if you're in a good spot in your relationship, and that's envisioning a future without your partner to help you appreciate them more. And when you said that, it made me think of it's Latin, it's memento mori, which the literal translation I'm not sure, but it's basically like a reminder of death, and it sounds morbid,
yes.
and it's from like Stoic philosophy, but it's such a valuable thing that if you think about, like one day this is going to end, it's going to make you appreciate life a little bit more, and so many other things of like being mad at your partner for some silly thing. If you can keep some perspective, or like when you're in traffic, anytime, it's such a simple exercise. So I encourage people to do that, but to also, like thinking about a future without your partner, even if you're super happy, it's just going to make you be that more proactive and appreciative of them in the present moment.
Yeah, it's the big guns. That's something that's very powerful to help you with appreciation, very, very, very powerful. Yeah, so because, how we are, we go on autopilot and we're multitasking and we're busy with this and we're busy with kids and we're busy with parents and we're busy with this, that, and the other, of course. The partner, your beloved, gets lost in the shuffle. I mean, really, you kind of go on autopilot with each other. Often, and the deep love, the passion gets lost, and that's a very dangerous thing. I say that if you're not having an affair with your partner, someone else will.
Yeah, and I want to revisit the diamond self and coming up with that name. But you mentioned thinking of your partner as their best self, as their diamond self, and that's it's a great exercise also because you can bring in to your conflicts the thought that your partner is not intentionally trying to hurt you. Like their intention, hopefully, otherwise you're in a very toxic relationship, but we tend to take something our partner does and reframe it as they're out to get me, or like they're trying to annoy me or get on my case. And if we can just think of the framework of them trying to be their best self, and that their intention is not to hurt us, going through the relationship with that mindset is going to prevent a lot of conflict from escalating. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Sometimes we float along and we're kind of in a position of a little bit of paranoia, negative kind of paranoia about our partners. And it's usually some kind of belief that we grew up with, like, oh, he doesn't really love me. He doesn't want to have, my best interest at heart, or whatever we had growing up, or he's just trying to hurt me all the time, or she. So there's kind of a negative paranoia that grows out of our childhood wounds. And, that is an insidious process, because if we're going to see whatever we're looking for, right? We're going to see evidence for whatever we're looking for. And for that reason, I have something that I call positive paranoia. And in positive paranoia, it's exactly what you were just saying. You look for the diamond self identity of your partner and how they do adore you, and they do want to come through for you, and they do not want to hurt you, which is really, at the deepest level, the ultimate truth, when there is love there. And so going and really putting this kind of positive paranoia on it, this is, even though he didn't bring me flowers for my birthday, he still loves me and wants to give me an amazing birthday.
Really looking for the good, looking for the love. Whatever we look for, we will find, right? Looking for the love. So, so important, so powerful.
Do you have any other exercises that you'd recommend in terms of getting out of that negative mindset of thinking that your partner's out to get you? Hopefully that's not a common thing that you're going through, because like Chase said, then you're probably in a really toxic relationship. But besides sometimes, I guess, but if you're, always reminding yourself that your partner's has his best intentions or her best intentions, are there any other exercises you can do to kind of stay within that mindset?
Yes. Number one is to make what I call a love intention. And that's a very strong affirmation that you want to live into in your relationship. So let's say your husband, Stan. Stan and I have a beautiful, loving, give and take relationship, right? Stan and I have a beautiful, loving, and we both want to, this is what our deepest desires are, to have this beautiful, loving, give and take relationship. Those are our deepest desires, let's say. So you make your affirmation, right? You can put that where you can see it. When I make my love intention affirmations, and I still do this even though I've been married very long, one of my favorites is that we continuously deepen our love. I put it actually near my computer because I spend a lot of time on my computer, and I look at it, and I have some beautiful rocks and things there, and some photographs, and I look at it. And this is what I want to put into action. This is what I want to look for, what I want to create in my relationship. And so you're beginning to surround yourself, let's say, with this intention, this love intention. You're writing it out. You're thinking about it. And then you want to practice the magic phrase, which I will teach you, the magic phrase.
Please, teach us.
That helps this to manifest. So you ready for the magic phrase?
Yes.
Okay. The magic phrase is, I would really love it if you fill in the blank. I would really love it if, when you came home, you gave me a very sweet kiss right here on the side of my mouth. I would really love it if, when we start having this kind of an argument, you would just jump up and hold me. I would really love it if you would bring me a dozen roses for my birthday. And so you're helping the person come through for you. You're helping the person. You're helping that paranoia, that positive paranoia, to be manifest in action in your partner.
It's such a simple, magical phrase there, but it's there's a lot to unpack there. It's easy to implement, but so many times in the relationship, we assume that our partner knows how to please us or read our mind or what's wrong. And this kind of statement is not waiting for your partner to do what it is that you want, but proactively putting it out there and saying exactly what it is. It's so simple, but it's so empowering. Going back to empowerment, it's self-empowering. It's like you want more back rubs because that makes you feel loved. Ask for them, and ask for them in a way that's not blaming or accusatory, like, you never give me back rubs, I just wish you would do it. And in this statement, like you said, I would really love it if you gave me back rubs every afternoon. Hint, hint, Sarah. Just kidding. Well, sometimes. But it's such a... it's so simple, but it's just that communication and that intention of putting it out there clearly, directly to your partner, and it can have such a huge difference.
Yeah. You got to give your partner some breadcrumbs to follow in terms of how to make you happy, and in a loving way, not in an accusatory, negative way, but in a loving way. You got to give them breadcrumbs so they can follow it to really succeeding with you, because your partner wants to succeed with you. They want things to work out. They really, really do. They really, really do at the deepest level. Even though it may not seem that way on the surface level, they do.
It's such an important thing to keep in mind because our brains will switch to, which is inevitably going to happen. You're going to get in an argument at some point or a disagreement. That is normal. But if we can keep the perspective of they're not out to get me rather than what's a lot easier to do and be like, well, what's their deal? And it's me versus them. It's like, hey, we're on the same team here. We can have this disagreement, but let's try to work it out from a perspective that we're in this together.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So you mentioned you've been married for 30 years. Is that what you said?
Yeah, over 30. Yeah.
In that you have the affirmation that you still do to help you remind yourself and your partner of how you want to proceed in the relationship, and I'm sure that changes. Are there any other exercises that you found for the longevity of your relationship that have been really valuable?
Before we continue on, we're going to take a short break to tell you about our sponsors. So the first thing I thought about when I heard about Lola is that Chase and all the other men out there are going to be rejoicing, and that's because no more trips to the drugstore to buy their wife's or their girlfriend's tampons.
Yeah, you were nice to me and probably only made me do that once or twice out of desperation. And of course I obliged, but it is, I mean, we're all grown-ups here, but it is a little awkward
be nice
for a guy.
You men out there.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, Lola is a monthly subscription that delivers a fully customizable box of organic tampons, pads, and liners right to your doorstep. And I love how you can personalize exactly how many tampons and pads are in your box. And most importantly, they are 100% organic and BPA free. So we all care about the ingredients and the food we eat and the beauty products we use. So why should it be any different for our feminine care products?
A crazy fact that we learned is that the FDA doesn't require brands to disclose a comprehensive list of ingredients in their feminine care products, so most of them don't. Major brands use a mix of synthetic ingredients in their products, including rayon and polyester. Their feminine care products may also be treated with harsh chemicals, cleansing agents, fragrance, and dyes.
Yuck. Sorry, I had to add that in there.
Yuck. Lola allows you to select your shipment frequency and cancel, skip an order, or modify your subscription anytime. Lola will email you 2 days before your box ships, and they pride themselves on no surprises or gimmicks.
So for 40% off your first order, visit mylola.com and enter the promo code IDO when you subscribe. That's mylola, mylola.com, and enter the promo code IDO, mylola.com. Today's show is also brought to you by the book Lovelands.
Lovelands, which is written by a past guest on our show and psychologist Dr. Deborah Campbell, is an easy-to-read guide to creating the relationship and life you most deeply desire. If you've ever wondered why you keep struggling with love and want to make lasting change for the better, Lovelands will show you how to make that change, not just in your relationship, but in every area of your life.
I'm deep in the middle of the book right now, and it's eye-opening. Deborah's wisdom from her own love mistakes as well as her client struggles has helped me examine myself and has allowed me to become even more aware of the reasons I get defensive or have poor communication or continue unhelpful patterns. Deborah really just tackles what's at the core of diverse relationship problems and simply tells us what helps and what doesn't.
Lovelands is available in hardcover on Amazon and audible.com. Visit idopodcast.com/Lovelands to buy your copy today. That's idopodcast.com/Lovelands.
Yes. You want to act with your spouse as if you are having an affair with them. That is something that changes the context completely. If you're having an affair with someone, you're not wearing your ratty old bathrobe. You're not you're not kind of like sitting down and not talking at dinner, right? You're not ignoring them when they want to have sex with you. You're not ignoring them. If you decide I'm having an affair with my partner, I'm having an affair. You can get so inspired, to be there in the moment, to have that electric connection that is sensual, and you can have sensuality in a single touch of your fingertips on your partner's arm. If it's fully present, if you're feeling what your partner is, your essence, if your partner's being through those little fingertip touches, it's very electric, it's very sensual. I'm not talking about an elaborate kind of thing necessarily, but, really looking into their eyes, winking at them, wearing sexy lingerie under your dress, surprising them with that. I mean, making a little date. You could make it a little more elaborate, make a date to go out to a hotel together and, with a big bubble bath that you share. You want to have an affair with your partner. And you want to make time to do that, by the way, because if you have the kids and you have this, that, and the other thing, and you have work, you want to make the time to do that. Now, my husband and I, when we had children at home, we used to have something called a going-in date. We didn't go out. We went in. We stayed in and had fun and played with each other. So you want to have time to have your affair, too. We also had a going out date where we got all dressed up and went to romantic dinners and this, that, and the other thing. So, it's like anything else. You gotta, work on it. You gotta create it. If you don't, it will be lost.
This is kind of a common theme of tips that you've mentioned, but this reframing of our thought process. So think about it like you're having an affair. Think about your future with your partner not there. And we are complicated creatures with our brain. So in our psychology. So if we can kind of trick ourselves to acting a certain way, it's like, also we've heard before is like, treat your partner like they were a friend. Would you say that in such a nasty way in an argument to your best friend? Probably not. But so often, because we become comfortable and habituated in a relationship, it's easy to just go into autopilot. And so this reframing can remind us and keep things interesting. And so that is another one. Yeah, you wouldn't wear ratty old clothes if you are sneaking away on the weekend to be with your lover. But if your lover is your wife, just reframe that.
Yeah.
And don't wear the ratty old clothes.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very interesting thing, it's a very, very interesting thing, and it works very powerfully. It really does. It works very powerfully.
So besides this reframing, are there any other, I'm sure there's plenty of tips that you've implemented for the success, but just trying to get the nuggets, because that's a great one. Can you give us another one that you find to be very valuable?
Well, just along drilling down the lines of the idea of appreciation, you could make a gratitude list for things that you appreciate about your partner. That can continue to keep you in appreciation, keep you in a positive frame about what's going on. You don't necessarily have to share it with them, but of course it's great to share it with them too. The other thing is, be the change you want to see in the world. Be the change you want to see. If you want to see your partner doing more active things, right? You go out and be active and enjoy yourself. And when he sees you having fun, or she sees you having a lot of fun bike riding or whatever you're doing, you invite the person along. Be the change you want to see in your relationship. Just go ahead and do it.
That's a great one, and it's self-empowering, and we talk about this on the show, is that you don't have to wait around for your partner to, quote, fix themselves to be how you want. You need to lead by example or lead the communication. So it might be like the example you gave of becoming active so that your partner will do more activities with you. But then if it's something that's more like a communication issue, initiate the communication that you want to create. If it's more intimacy and you want to talk to your partner more, and create that conversation yourself. It takes one person to start that. And it's such a, going back to, again, empowerment. So we want to empower our partners, but we are ourselves empowered in the relationship. So it's a really important thing to keep in mind.
Absolutely. And there's another very, very potent exercise that a lot of the cases that are in the love mentor coaching do, and it just really turns things around in terms of the friendship level and the understanding level and the communication level. And that is what we call 10-minute listening sessions. We have 10-minute listening sessions. And what that is you actually sit down. One is the listener. The other one gets to talk and say whatever is on their mind for 10 minutes. The listener cannot interrupt. The listener is there kind of like a quiet, reflective, validating therapist, you might say. So they're like, uh-huh, mm-hmm, you feel sad, uh-huh, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. 10 minutes. And you'd be surprised at what happens when your partner can simply talk for 10 minutes. And if there's a period of silence, you just kind of let that be and you still wait it out. It's almost like a little therapy session. And then you reverse. And the person who was listening gets to talk. And the person who was talking gets to listen. And the rule is that nothing brought up during a listening session can be brought up in an argument. But let me tell you, the couples who do this in the coaching program, it's so powerful. I can't even begin to tell you. They begin to feel this sense of bonding. They begin to feel this sense of being good friends. They begin to have this deepening understanding. It's very powerful. I've used it with my husband for years. If there's something, so we kind of will say to each other, if something's brewing, can I have a 10-minute listening session? And we do it. And then we reverse. And chances are it all works out. It's amazing.
I think that's something that we should try. I'm sure our listeners would definitely benefit it as well, but especially if one person in the relationship feels like they're not as talkative as the other, and this,
I'm the talkative one.
If you haven't noticed, Chase talks a little bit more in the relationship than I do, but it's a great way for me in this situation to feel like I can fully express myself without feeling like Chase needs to, come in with his comment or anything like that. So it's a really great way where it's like you're saying, 10 minutes all to myself to be able to get everything out, and then the other person is fully listening and then respond. So I think that's something that we can definitely use in our relationship. It'll be super valuable.
Oh, you guys are going to love it. I love that. I love that so much. It's such a relief to say to Sam, my husband, can I have a 10-minute listening session? I'm like, oh, I really need it. It's just fantastic. it's just a fantastic exercise.
Well, we are going to do that 10-minute listening session, put it on the calendar, and that's a great exercise. You've given us a lot of great advice and exercises. I'm also really excited about coming up with Sarah's diamond self-name.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get something good, and then
we'll keep you guys posted on that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! I have like something coming up about Sarah. Exquisite, loving presence.
There's one.
I like that one. Thank you.
I want warrior.
I don't know. That's what I'm feeling about you, Sarah.
Oh, thank you.
I really like warrior princess. Somewhere
warrior
in there.
Ooh,
shows
warrior
like fierceness,
princess. I love
but she's
that
also,
too.
Something. This is gonna be fun.
Oh, no. Pressure's on for me to think of your name now.
All right. We'll have to share that on our social media and let all of our listeners see what we come up with. But we got to wrap up here, Dr. Diana. We really appreciate you coming on the show, giving Sarah and I these great exercises, and definitely our listeners as well. So why don't we finish up by having you tell our listeners where they can find you online. And I hear you also have a special offer for us, and then we'll say goodbye.
Oh, wonderful. Well, this has been fantastic. I really enjoyed every minute of it. And I'm thrilled to tell your listeners that I have the most amazing free gift for them. I mean, I have this team of Love Mentor coaches. They are awesome. I mentioned that I had someone who was like a fairy godmother to me who helped me get into a great relationship with my soulmate, and that's what these people are. They're very knowledgeable. They're just incredible. Anyway, I can offer your listeners a free 40-minute session by phone or Skype with one of the Love Mentor coaches. They're hand-selected by me and personally trained and supervised by me, actually. And all you need to do is go to my website, which is lovein90days.com. That's lovein90days.com. Click on the coaching tab at the top. And when you fill out the form, here's the important part. When you fill out that form asking for your free session, and it says who referred you, put in the I Do podcast, or just write I Do in there. And that way I know that you came from Chase and Sarah, and you'll be sure to get your session, because sometimes we have just too many requests for sessions and we have to turn people away. But if you go to lovein90days.com and fill out that form and put in I Do, where it asks who referred you, you will definitely get a free session. And you can talk about diamond self-names. You can talk about whatever's going on in your couple, or if you're single, what issues you have. And I know that you will really find it incredibly, valuable. So definitely take advantage.
Awesome. Well, I know our listeners will love that. And on your show notes page on our website at idopodcast.com, they can go there, and we'll have the link to your website and all those resources that you recommended. So again, thank you so much for coming on the show. And it was great sharing the knowledge, and we appreciate it so much.
Oh, thank you. This was fabulous.
We hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. As always, you can find the links from today's show on our website at idopodcast.com. And while you're on the website, we encourage that you check out some of the free resources that we've created for you guys. One of those is the 14-day Happy Couple Challenge. And we send you an email every day for 14 days with doable challenges to help strengthen and make your relationship even better. And we've also created cheat sheets and workbooks for your relationship, and you can find all of those on our website. And lastly, our Facebook group, which is the Love Tribe. We encourage all of you guys to join our group there as well. And if you ever have any topic suggestions or ideas for the podcast, please send them our way. You can email us at info@idopodcast.com, and we would love to hear from you guys. And we hope you enjoyed today's show.